told you, LFT, they could run the Ziggs and Brum combo down at the Dragon Lane side. Let's see if that's what's gonna happen. However, Team Flash, right after they locked in that connection, they have their eyes on the queen of the late game, which is Kai'Sa, and a Charmer to pair her off.
Wow, this means Team Flash is going full aggressive, not even worried about the aggression coming from LFD, because usually Kai'Sa can be a bit vulnerable in the early game, usually paired with a Janna, just for that disengage, just for that safety. But look at that. Yuko, you mentioned Darius. We're going to see it either in the mid lane, perhaps, or towards the top lane as we see PP play that possibly.
Please be in the Baron lane. Please be in the Baron lane. But yeah, now we have lock-in on Irelia for Team Flash. But the first A-song for the day. Wow, Team Flash with the flashy draft.
Yeah, they're going for the side lane pressure. I mean, it ain't a Twisted Fate, it ain't a Galio, but it does its job. Just flying across the map, setting up with the stuns, and then just catching you off guard. LFD this time, you know, Wolf did a phenomenal job actually in the Vi pick. I mean, why not pick it again for this game number 3?
My, what about a curveball here, Yuko? I mean, you're talking about we wanted to see the Darius, we wanted to see the Jarvan once again look to try and be that initiating target. And I like the fact that they've gone this direction, that they've opened up with the Ziggs and the Braum first of all, because it's like, hey, we know that Flash want to be aggressive, so let's lock them in place, hit them with CC. What are they going to do about it? Run it back with the Vi again, let Wolf try and pop off. But I have to say, the show has been completely stolen here by the Aurelian Slow. Team Flash, they want to be flashy. They want to go out with a bang. They want to showcase that, hey, we can play hard to play champions. We can do it all. And I tell you what, if they can end it on a banger note like this with a 3-0, then we are in for a treat. I believe our casters are ready, so it's time to check in with them once again. Let's throw it over to our casting team.
Well, we're going to be looking across the galaxy for Daddy because LFD definitely needs all the help that they can get to take wins away from Team Flash. Now, that's an Aurelian Soul up the mid lane.
Yes,
the first in a long while. Omo,
Indeed.
how does this work?
Well, Contra, there's a lot of things that we need to look at in this draft, and let's start off with the side of LFD. Some things I like, some things I don't like, right? What I do like, Wolf and Wen, Vi and Jarvan, very good combo. They were the most successful parts of the Flash lineup last game. That's partly also because they were playing against an immobile marksman in the form of Varus. Every time they jumped on him, he would die. This time around though, they're going up against a Rakan Kai'Sa combo, which is so hard to kill. You cannot punish her with Cataclysm, and it's so hard to use Vi Ultimate to lock her down as well. That's the bad part of the draft for LFD. Now, let's talk about the other side of the map. For the side of Team Flash here, they've opted for the Irelia into Darius matchup, and if you mechanically max this, like if you play this matchups to its limits, you can stomp it as an Irelia, but you must play it very well. And for that to happen, they had to put Renekton into the jungle. It's gonna make a trip mid lane, help shove out this mid lane wave, and it's just gonna be Ellie and Joyce working in tandem. Now, what this Aurelian Soul really wants to do, and what Joyce is helping him do, secure his base timing, get him high health enough, get him some mana, let him get him buy-in. He's gonna push the wave, he's gonna fly to top lane, and he's gonna kill PP over and over again.
Oh boy, speaking of killing PP, he might just be the one that gets taken down. Last ticket to Ignite and Shine just shows who's the more dominant Baron laner.
Yeah, and it kind of got interrupted a bit there, but it was the Control 7, or I'm not sure what you call it, the level 5, level 6 mastery, flashing over the head of the Shy, showing his mastery of the champion. That was very clean. That's exactly what I mean, right? Play the matchup to its limits, push it to the edge, toe the line. That's exactly what Shy did. Outplays PP, gets the solo kill, crosses the Bramble Vest purchase, and he's gonna take a 500-600 gold lead in this lane matchup.
Yeah, and that also forces a rule fast so early where ideally as Darius you want to play aggressively, you want to eventually build up that Trinity Force if ever the case would be. Or perhaps just go for Black Cleaver. Either one will actually work. Now, going back into this whole matchup with Ellie here, who could easily roam up with pretty much a Cosmic Drive across any lanes in particular. I want to see that giant stun that he could actually pull off against LFD if that could ever happen. Extra stop points.
For sure, for sure. I mean, in the mid to late game, that's definitely something you should expect to see from the Aurelian. So, for now, I think we're just going to be expecting to see him fly into PP's lane and just, you know, harass him a little bit. punish him a little bit and see what he can do there.
Yeah, PP doesn't mind a little bit of tease here because he's always getting help from Wolf, and I think that's how they managed to actually get a little bit more lead coming into the past game. And Team Flash still thriving with chaos. But the problem is, Ellie in the mid lane is consistently getting poked. No, he doesn't mean he says, I don't mind, just give me more of that. Like, you're not going to be able to drag over. You're just going to damage me, and I challenge you to a duel.
Every time we look at the mid lane,
oh boy,
hit me.
And it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Shy will give up his life for it. He doesn't have Flash available. And Wolf will still be the one to back that kill. So, as you were saying, Romo.
Yeah, I mean, I think Shy is still happy with that one, trading 1-for-1. He loses out on the wave, and he's still gonna get a hit. But yeah, Ellie in the mid lane. I do think the Jarvan pick is a great answer. Picks up the GAs once again. He's gonna be happy just jumping into team fights yet again, like we saw in the last game. But this time around, he's actually getting more control of his lane. He's constantly poking out the ASO every time we look at mid lane.
Interesting rotation coming in from PP. He managed to pull them right under the turret. Just a little bit of apprehend while there is a temp on the Herald. Very sneaky move coming in from Wolf. So, Wolf, let's talk about his Vibe performance in that past match. Because he looked pretty good, I must say. But the rest of LFD has to follow suit.
Yeah, he did look pretty good, and I think that a lot of that is also because of Wed. These two worked very well in tandem as the diving buddies. They dived into every team fight together. Anytime they saw a squishy by himself, they would just jump on him, 2v1, and they would just do so much burst damage that it's enough to pick anyone off. This time around, it's gonna be so much harder, I feel. There's a barrier on Kai'Sa, the shields and healing from Rakan. There's a Kai'Sa ultimate to get out of Cataclysm. Surely this game, Ellie will buy a Zhonya's hourglass. And I think all these factors added up just makes it so hard for Wolf and Wen to succeed, to excel. And you do have the combo, right? You have the combo of Vi out and Ziggs bomb. But it's Herald.
Yeah, Harold getting sneaked out, looking for that. He secures that one as he slides through the wall. So, Glory D just giving a little bit of cover from the back for Ellie. And my, LFD, at least they got that party straight this time around. They managed to go for that take so quietly, and Team Flash was just a little bit too.
Yeah, that should not have happened, to be honest with you. They have such a huge lead in the Baron lane. Shy is so far ahead. He's level 8 to level 7 on PP's Darius here, as well as they have an Aurelion Sol mid lane, who is so easy to roam for anytime that he so chooses. He can just fly over to the fight location. And they still lost the Rift Herald. That should not be happening. But of choice.
Baldwicker and everything else comes right in. Wolf tries to get a little bit more room as he smites to recover health. While the Thunderbolt drops right in, it does not lock the rest of Team Flash. And look at looking for Daddy. They got this triple dunk setup, and they got the whole fight of Dragon Pit all well secured, but they're still bitching though.
Yeah, the problem right now is the lane assignments from Team Flash. Dialing is not there. Dialing has been at the bot lane, and he's not been able to participate and help in ending fights. They need to make sure it's Aurelion Sol or Irelia catching the side lane. You cannot have your Kai'Sa going down there. I get the logic. You want your Aurelion Sol in mid lane so that he can roam to either side lane. But Dialing has not been able to participate in any fights, and that's something that they did so well in the previous game. Team Flash constantly had his Varus at mid. Ellie is having a very sad time this game around. Keeps getting poked out. Here we go on PP.
Meanwhile, Vanguard's edge being popped.
That's Flash.
It's definitely dangerous to dive Varus all alone. So, yeah. You're definitely having a lot of great solid pointers out there, and I guess they're just waiting for that mid game to happen in Team Flash. Gotta tidy up their play a little bit, and I'm just hoping for something huge like Vanguard's Edge connecting alliance, because that it's going to be a Vault Breaker, Assault Battery, all used up. Shy get the left feature trying to add those numbers, but it will still fall to the hands of Wolf.
And that's the power of Vi, right? We always talk about how it's a one-dimensional champion, but what she's good at doing, she is really good at doing. When she gets on your squishies, when she gets on your carries, she just locks them down, makes them unable to move, and completely nullifies a more than 1,000 gold lead that Shy had over PP. You can't do anything if you can't move. And he's the richest person in the game right now. Yet again, Wolf on this buy. Teams that are facing LFD, they might want to consider banning this away at this point.
Yeah, and just look at the current state. It feels like this Vi is doing so much more than Joyce, who's putting the Renekton inside the jungle. So, you know, they are just hoping to flex their way out of this, but the rest of Looking for Daddy is coming right in. That's where PP pulls them right under the turret. Here comes Megalith Little Bomb, taking down their health bars. Well, that is a great quickness there that pulls them right back. Shy, just taking down the health bars, but that is all that they could possibly do for the moment. Looking for Daddy got that one kill.
And do you know what the problem here is, Contra? Look at the map. Look at who is not in the fight. It's the marksman, yet again, dialing every spell available. Cannot be participating because he's been stuck in the bottom lane due to poor lane assignment from Team Flash. They're gonna lose this turret.
Yeah, and there goes Win, who is hoping to dive right in. It's a little bit of a safe distancing coming in from Team Flash for the moment. As we hit 9 minutes, look at the items now. I think that this is definitely something that's interesting. 2 games in a row. First item GA, and that actually allows Wolf to go in for full damage items on that fight that we've been highlighting on in the past couple of minutes. So, is it going to be a semi-build coming from that Darius?
I think he's gonna go full tank from this point on out. He's not ahead enough, and he just wants to make sure he can be a frontline in the team fight. Because look at Wolf, same thing as last game. He built full damage, let his team frontline for him, let Wen frontline for him. All he needs is the Guardian's Angel, and he's gonna go Glass Cannon and try to just pop people. What's gonna counter this is when the Zhonya's Hourglasses start coming out, then a lot more of the burden falls onto. But if you consider the way LFD's damage types work, their only consistent source of DPS is Ziggs. If Darius doesn't get a reset off, Ziggs is going to be the only one dishing out damage in the mid to late game.
That's a very fair point out there. So, heading to that late game, definitely looking quite scary for Looking for Daddy if that's going to be the case. Oh, here comes the charge.
Yep, what you were looking for, Contra. It's a bit underwhelming, though.
A little bit. Maybe without the turret out of the way. I mean, that could
Better
be
luck
something.
next time.
Yeah.
Alternatively, he could have timed it so that he would end up mid during Dragon Spawn timer, but it's a bit unfortunate. Look at this though. Shy wants to make a rotation down. Looks like both teams want to fight this. This could be the big 5v5 that breaks the stalemate.
Just setting up some vision right now. Looking for Daddy now. Having the health bar of the Drake taken down to 50%. The rest of Team Flash might just be able to actually respawn. Now, if so little health bars left, Looking for Daddy should be able to secure it with the smite. But they collapse overall. The quickness connects the two. Over the back, Cataclysm locks everybody in place. Vanguard Edge on the back. Die doing it as he finds a little bit more space. Flashes over the wall while the rest of Team Flash are just taking them out. It might just be an early ace, but Wen will be able to move right out of the way. And Wolf just dancing off the Flash over the wall. He will survive, but Team Flash, they may have lost the Drake, but they got those kills to find great opening up mid.
And my MVP for that fight, my unsung hero for the series so far, is Glory D. Finding the angle on the flank, he wraps up. I think he chomps almost everyone on the side of LFD. Didn't get the best knockup, but look at this Rakan approach here. He chomps the backline. He should have been content with just knocking up the carries, but he went for the tank. A bit of a misplay, but now this leaves the Shy to just get onto Juan. He uses both charges of his Blade Surge. That was a bit of a mistake. If he played that a little bit better, I think he could have cleaned house. But it doesn't matter. You get the important target, which is Juan, who I think was a kind of misplay because he has Flash, he has Barrier, he didn't use those 2 spells, and it won't matter. Joyce gets taken down out of replay, but that ties the gold lead up, and this might be LFD trying to flip Baron.
Well, that's a really early call. Are they sure about this? Great knockup! Here comes the Brilliant Soul! Probably for the stun, the Vanguard Edge will keep them at bay. And that's where one kill goes over to Ellie while the Flying Drag connects. And they lock them inside a Cataclysm while Billing will have just about enough to survive all that outburst. While Wen goes down, LFD called a shot a little bit too early.
And it's a disaster yet again for LFD. They cannot afford to lose another fight. The goal lead swinging to Team Flash. And now it's going to be a Baron. It's going to swing even more. Now, Contra, we identified that the DPS was going to be an issue for the side of LFD. They only had Juan on that Ziggs to be the primary damage dealer. He drops at the start of the fight, yet again, with both sums up. And you see what happens at the end of the fight. When locks up basically both carries on the side of Team Flash with his Cataclysm, but there's no damage to follow up. He's full tank on this Jarvan. Wolf on a Vi is not going to be the carry, despite the fact that he's building damage, and that looks like LFD, they've just run out of steam.
Indeed, right? If you look into LFD, if they do initiate fight, it might actually look pretty good when you layer down all the elements. But when it comes down to defense, there's only Chi to rely on with a good Glacial Fissure, and that's just about it. What can Juan actually do in that very moment? It just felt like it's too much of pressure coming in, especially that Vanguard's Edge caught majority of the members of Looking for Daddy. They have no exit plan, and that is going to be a lot tougher than what they thought this matchup would be. And just looking back at Ellie as well, he's moving in to many of these fights as if he's a tank. Yeah, he's got that realized, but I think that is an interesting move from Arlen.
That's something that people tend to not realize about Brilliant Soul, right? He gets to basically hyper carry status in the late game if he's untouched. He does a bunch of damage, he has utility, and he's tanky. Bit of a threat there from Wolf.
Well, this is where they bring up the Baron power play on both sides of the lane, but Baron lane is unattended, so there's a little bit more room.
Yeah, Baron lane is unattended right now, so that's going to be a pretty even mid-wave, but no one really cares about that wave because they're trying to push the bases down right now. Dialing Foster Jonas, the mispositioning, that they're going to be pushing both lanes.
And that's the dunk coming from PP. He doesn't really get any sort of reset off Joyce. You really get to take it down, and LFD, they choose to collapse. Vanguard's Edge onto 4, and he dives right in, but that GA will be popped. And, well, 4D will be the next ones to be on a chopping block while Dilling tries to deal with Wolf all alone. LFD, they manage a defense while Team Flash, they got caught over here once more, but Wolf, he might just do it, Dilling! One ticket HP, and he survives with some great shutdown onto the Vi.
Indeed. And Dilling right there. Launches that one out. Look, Wolf has the assault of Vault Breaker. Is that what it's called? The Vault Breaker?
Well, Assault Battery.
Assault and Berry. Okay, it doesn't matter. He has the ultimate available, but Dialing comboed it so well that he rocked the Plasma and he basically one-shotted Wolf out of GA before he could get outed. And you know, we criticize a lot of Flash's decision-making, their lane assignments. Why did you consistently put this Kai'Sa in the Dragon Lane? He's solo farming the whole game. He can't contribute to any fight. And though that led to them losing out in a lot of team fights, a lot of skirmishes, the counterpoint to that is if you funnel your Kai'Sa solo farm, solo experience, he's going to be level 14, 2 levels up with Juan, higher level than his mid laner, and he's going to have 3.5 items right now on this Kai'Sa. He is looking to 1v9 this game.
Well, that's a very long connection of the Assault Battery, and I'm glad that you bring up about Dilling, because last match he was looking pretty good on his marksman role as well, and he's so reliable to the point where you see Team Flash going for so many of all these chaotic fights. He always remains at a very good safe position, so gotta give credit to that.
Yeah, you definitely do, and I think that at this point, the Vi pick, we always criticize it, it's kind of running out of steam, right? You saw what happened when you tried to out the Rakan? Rakan just dashes 2 screens away and there's no follow-up. You're a damaged Vi, but you're not a carry. You're not very going to late game. If you have a tank Baron laner, tank mid laner, well yeah, this Baron is an afterthought. It's basically gone at this point in a blink of an eye. Joyce pops his ulti, and that's the biggest commitment they have to make to secure Baron for themselves.
Well, it's Baron number 2, and Team Flash, they can call the shots right now. Looking for Daddy, playing a little bit more defensively. And Shy goes in, Vanguard Edge. 1 million flashes over. Well, that is Chi trying to tank it all out. And, well, Team Flash, they're happy with that.
Yeah, well, Shy faked out the members of LFD, but he also faked me out. I thought he was going to go in, but he's just being a bit fancy.
But here comes Ricardo. He goes right in, diving turret.
There we
and
go.
Ellie trickling down the health bars as full flies 4 times. Here comes the sun. Cataclysm blocks them in place. But Team Flash, I think they don't have to clear them all up. They will be able to eventually secure this game. And that's a convincing 3-0 for Team Flash.